Well, welcome back to 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse, and it's like 4:20, so I think it's time to finish off this joint I just rolled, because I was just thinking of some shit, and January and February aren't very good months for a lot of us, because the founder of Something Weird Video, Mike Vraney, passed away in January. For you, Mike, I know you always enjoyed the herb, and I always enjoyed smoking it with you when you were in town. And of course, in February, Valentine's Day, we lost David Friedman, who would, actually find it ironic that he passed away on Valentine's Day because St. Valentine's Day Massacre. But anyway, somebody said the other day about some video company being like, well, they're the new Something Weird Video. Well, let's face it, Something Weird Video is still alive and well. And there will never be anything like Something Weird Video. Because the simple reason is that Mike Vraney, the founder and the brains behind Something Weird Video, started this whole thing from scratch with his own money, which I don't think some of these other companies always had, a little plethora of deep pockets to start their companies, but Mike did it from scratch with his own money, and he dug through prints and prints of films, and he found stuff that nobody in their right mind would have put out, but stuff that people like me and you guys watching this really wanted to see. And in doing that, he created a legend, and a legend that can't be topped, because there is no, there's imitators and duplicators, but there's never been anything even close to being like Something Weird Video. Their catalog spoke for itself. They had thousands of releases, everything from karate to spaghetti westerns to hardcore porn to softcore porn to loops to women's wrestling to just about everything, sword and sandal movies, and the list goes on. And there's some really weird, obscure stuff that, like I said, if Mike hadn't dug this up and spent, time digging through these film vaults and cans of films to find this stuff, I mean, he found, I think one of the original prints to Bloody Pit of Horror and Terror Creatures from the Grave and things like that. I mean, the legend is that, and it's not a legend, it's the fact that Frank Henenlotter found a Film Depot that was going to get hit by the wrecking ball when the security guards were selling off prints for $100 to anybody who had the cash. So Frank got Mike involved. I heard they took a truckload of films out, and that was another gold mine. Dave Friedman, of course, who was hesitant about getting involved in the whole thing because, Dave's whole thing was that, once it made its theatrical run and, they kept re-releasing it, then it was dead. So he, like a lot of the other exploitation guys, had no clue about home video or what it would do. So after Dave got his first check, it was like, how many more films do you want? And then he turned Mike on to, Harry Novak and Joe Sarno and all these other great people, and then, we got more of their stuff. And, there was so many, great people involved with Something Weird Video. Myself for the Loops things, Johnny Legend for his Untamed video stuff, Eric Caden of Hollywood Book and Poster, who did some of the commentaries on the Lee Frost, Bob Crissay, schlock Mondo documentaries like Mondo Fruto, and Tim Lewis, who stayed there as long as he could, and then Lisa's still there, who kept the DVD-R going a lot longer than Mike would have wanted her to, but she kept it going for the fans, and she's still doing stuff, and these other companies are basically leasing the titles and putting them out in high def and Blu-ray and stuff like that, and it's all cool, but they're lucky that stuff was already found for them. They didn't have to do the heavy lifting. Mike did all that. And in him doing that, we got just so much great stuff. I mean, the whole reason a lot of these Blu-rays are packed with extras is because of Mike. I mean, here you go. Triple feature, probably out of print now, The Atomic Brain, Love After Death, and The Incredible Petrified World. So you got 3 movies plus digitally remastered, original theatrical trailers of The Atomic Brain, Incredibly Petrified World, alternate opening title sequence for The Atomic Brain on TV versions. I can't see what glasses aren't shitty. Bonus Shriek-O-Matic house trailers, Back from the Dead, Curse of the Living Corpse, Frozen Alive, Hands of Orlac, Monster A Go-Go, and The Terrified. Ghastly gallery of ghoulish comic cover art with music by the Dead Elvi. And it's like, okay, here's over 3.5 hours worth of stuff here. And what do you want, Boots? Of course, Bill Graffa's perennial double feature from Florida, Death Curse of Tartu, Sting of Death. And I think, honestly, I got, that box set, and I'm like, I don't know who did the color correction on some of that stuff, but this actually plays out better for me. This one has audio commentary with William Graffet, trailers for Death Curse of Tartu, Jaws of Death, Racing Fever, Stanley, Sting of Death, and the Wild Rebels. And you can sing along with Neil Sedaka with the enclosed lyrics for the Jellyfish song. And an additional 30 minutes of rare scenes from Sting of Death, producer, whatever the hell it is, and I need better glasses. But you get what I'm telling you. I mean, this is another, over 3 hours worth of stuff. And that was Mike's mantra. Give them, commentaries, give them extras, just give them more bang for their buck, because that's what Something Weird was all about. And, the image stuff is, I guess they're all out of print by now, but if you can grab them, I mean, you're getting a lot of really great stuff with the image stuff, and there's other things too, stuff that you're no longer going to see anymore, because unfortunately, I don't know, it happened to my stuff too, and a lot of other people's stuff, that credit card companies issued from banks were refusing to take payment for adult-oriented material. So as a result, Something Weird had to take a bunch of titles off their website, and one of the titles that they had on eBay got them banned from eBay. So just a few here. The Molesters. It's not even what you think. This was from 1964, and probably would have packed them on 42nd Street. Probably did pack them on 42nd Street, but I was I think, shit, I would have been 12 years old, so no, I wouldn't have been there. But it's actually a documentary. It's, it says, you will see the immoral, you will see the sadist, you won't see shit, because it's a documentary. There's nothing there. They just go through this whole thing. It's from Germany. And then Tales of a Salesman from 1965, the salesman used to go house to house, you get the scenario. And of course, this would definitely fucking be a no-no. Child Bride from 1941, roadshow movie. The Big Snatch from 1971, you can take that either way. It's either a kidnapping film or a very large vagina. The Adolescent, another no-no from 1967. This one's interesting. Adventures in Indochina from, 1958. Other footage put in 65. The Prince from AIP TV. There's only one guy I know in here. Ron Kondelhoff, I believe his name. Rudolph Kondelhoff. He was in a bunch of spaghetti westerns. He's a really big, heavy set guy. But you get to see Vietnam before we fucking blew it up. Escort Girl, another no-no from 1941. Young, Willing, and Eager, another one, 1961, very suggestive. Wetbacks, of course, you ain't going to get away with that. And honestly, Leslie Nielsen is in this along with Barton McLean and John Hoyt, and honestly, it's not a bad movie. If they probably got rid of the fucking title, you could put it out. It's basically, crooked sea captains smuggling immigrants in from Mexico, and then a bunch of fucking other mobs and stuff like that. And Bad Girls Don't Cry from 1954, I guess, another one. But, there was more. I mean, there was a whole bunch of shit, Nazi Love Island, I think, or something like that, Ordered to Love. We look at it as all tongue-in-cheek, because basically when they released it back then, it pretty much was. It was too fucking outrageous to be taken seriously. But today we have what is known as the woke culture. And I guess the woke culture, I think the only way for these people to be satisfied is that we should erase everything from 2020 back. We should just blank it out or go back there and sanitize it. But you know something? We're not going to do that because this whole censorship thing is bullshit and went down with another kid's book, I believe, Ronald Dot, whatever the hell his name was. I never read, I grew up on Dr. Seuss and you already fuck with them. So I don't understand this whole thing, but you know, there was always my mantra that if you don't like what you're reading, you don't like what you're hearing, you don't like what you're seeing, turn it the fuck off. Is it that hard? But oh no, we have all of a sudden this woke culture who basically wants to tell us how bad everything was prior to today. You know something? Wake this the fuck up, okay? This is bullshit. So, like I said, going back to something weird video, woke culture probably would have a fucking conniption over all those releases too. And you know, like I said, there's a lot of stuff that has been released that again is not going to see the light of day. So hang on to your physical media, boys and girls, because streaming's only going to be good for so long, and sometimes the sound sucks and shit like that. But the bottom line is, when things like that, stuff I just showed you, ain't drawing money on streaming, or, you know, somebody gets fucking offended, like somebody could get offended about this channel, and, you know, you get enough complaints into YouTube, guess what? They woke up and I'm gone. So it's a very slippery slope here, but like I said, you got this stuff, hold on to it, make backup copies, you know, sit on DVD players, buy a couple and just stash them, because you don't know. From what I was told, they're not making any more of these duplicators, or they're not going to be making DVD-Rs blanks anymore. So it's a telling sign. So again, you know, Mike, Dave, I miss you guys. I'm happy I got involved with the whole thing. You guys launched my career, as crazy and as fucked up as it was. And I will always appreciate that. And I know that, you know, you're probably up there with Dave and Herschel and all the rest of the gang in the exploitation heaven, we hope, and just save me a seat at the bar. Not right way, but, you know, just save me a seat at the bar. So that's our show for today, and thanks for tuning in. Thanks to all the new subscribers, and we'll catch you on the flip side.